One of the things about veterans in crisis is that people can be distracted by the fact that they are a veteran. And often in crisis, it's not actually the fact that they're a veteran that leads to that crisis. It's a fact that they're a person. And so it's really important to listen to that person and understand what's important to them about this crisis.
So veterans will find themselves in crisis just like anybody will. And I guess what is important in terms of context for the emergency responder is to understand that veterans as a group will have potentially higher rates of psychological distress and mental illness, as well as physical illness and chronic pain. So they've got a burden of other problems that can occur alongside things like relationship discord, difficulties with employment, finding employment or keeping employment. They may even be in transition. So they're often in a very difficult space, and even though they might have crisis like everybody else, theirs is often complicated.
So when veterans are in a crisis, because of their military training, they're more likely to respond with anger and then potentially aggression. And when they react, they're likely to overreact.
What I feel is unique about veterans in crisis is the experiences that they've had before they've got to that place where they're in crisis. Veterans have a workplace that is different to any other workplace that you could possibly have, and they go through experiences that just aren't normal for the rest of the community. And so their background and their experiences come together in a place where when they're in crisis, it can be very hard to understand where they've come from.
From my experience with veterans in crisis, many of them are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and major depression. And there's a number of enduring qualities that veterans pick up, which become pretty much a part of their hard drive. And I think these do show themselves when they're in crisis. Firstly, they have very strong sense of being orderly and perfectionistic. I think that's really highlighted by their military service. And so that can come out during a crisis. Often they have quite a pronounced sense of perceived injustice, that things have happened to them through their military career and perhaps after their military career, perhaps with some difficulties with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and that often leads to a sense of bitterness and rancour about their situation, which can be driving the crisis. Also, they can often have an elevated sense of perceived threat about them, which can determine their behaviour.